Hi everyone, I'm making you another screencast video so that I can explain reading response number 3, which is due February 16th. Again, I like to use technology in creative ways, and I just love screencast videos because it allows you to have the oral directions. If you need to listen to it several times, you can if you get confused. But please, if my directions are not thorough enough, please feel free to contact me. This is the third reading response, so hopefully you'll start to see some predictable patterns in how I format the reading responses. For this particular response, you have 4 readings, and they're not incredibly long. In fact, they're pretty short pieces between the 4 of them. And this time, compared to how I did it, the last couple of reading responses, I have the APA citation in here for you. So this is your Kathy Toll book that you purchased. This was one of the required books to buy. So I hope all of your books are in. Maybe some of you got them digitally and downloaded them on your Kindle or your Nooks, or you ordered the paper copy. Regardless, I just hope that you have it and you would be ready to go by February 16th. You're only going to read the opening on the first 14 pages because the theme of this particular readings has to do with adult learning theory. So that's why you're only reading the first 14 pages. But stay tuned. You're going to be reading the entire Kathy Toll book that I'm going to scaffold throughout the rest of the semester. So it's your chance to finally jump into your book. And then you have 3 articles, and these 3 articles are all about adult learning. And this is one unique thing about this course is, when I was in your shoes and I was a classroom teacher before I became a literacy coach, all of the theories that I learned about learning centered around children, and justifiably so. As a K-12 teacher, you have to know about children's theories. But when I got into my master's program, learning to be a literacy specialist, I started this whole new door open for me in starting to learn about adult learning theory. And I found it so fascinating. So I hope you do too. I really hope you enjoy these readings. And Mark Kistler, I actually have met him a couple times way in the past. He did a master's program where I was at, and I knew his wife. And then Sharon Merriam, she's out of the University of Georgia, and she is super well respected in the field. And she actually writes, I'm sorry, I found a typo here. This will be fixed by the time you guys open it. She actually is a leader in adult learning theory, which is called, this might be a new word for some of you. Do you know how to say it? Andragogy, or it maybe even could be andragogy. So you know the word pedagogy. Some people also say pedagogy. I prefer pedagogy because growing up on the West Coast, that's the word and how it's pronounced usually. But of course, there's different pronunciations. But I usually say like pedagogy, andragogy. So that's how you say that word if that's new to you. I know that was it was not until my master's program that I started learning about this concept. So you're going to read, again, these 4 pieces, not very long, just these pages. And then I want you to actively engage in thinking about what you read by creating a 1-pager. A 1-pager is a literacy strategy. And if you've noticed, every time you have a reading response, I want you to engage with the readings using strategies that you can use with K-12 students. And also, this is another tool to put in your kit when advising teachers if they need strategies. I learned 1-pager, and again, I'm presuming, but if some of you may already know 1-pager, or you know a way it's been adapted, and some of you, this might be a new strategy. But this strategy is tried and true. It's been around for 25 years because I learned it in the early 90s when I started teaching, and I have been a fan. This is one of my favorites. It's by Gabrielle Rico. I went to a workshop with her, and she writes a lot about cognitive strategies and how to make meaning. So this is how you make a 1-pager. It's really creative. You can't do this wrong. All you have to do is follow this criteria, and if you meet this criteria, you're going to be set up to succeed. And so I don't show you an actual 1-pager because here is my fear. Like normally I like to give examples, but in this case, I feel like if I show you someone else's 1-pager, you might think, well, then that's what I want it to look like. And there's really no right or wrong with how you create it because it's how you make meaning. What it needs to, so I'll go over the criteria. But first, when I say 1-pager, You need to get all of this criteria met on one page. And that's one of the reasons I like a one-pager, because it makes me economize and synthesize information and get it all to one page. And then I'm not writing for on and on and on. And I know you guys are teachers, you're busy. And so being able to get it all done in one page, I hope you find that helpful. You can do this. You can open up a new Word document in one page, 8.5 by 11. You can do it old school, get some white construction paper with pens and pencils and colors and markers, and do it old school and just, again, scan it or take a photo and upload it to La Lima, because I want to read your one pager or view your one pager, and you're going to be sharing these in class as well. Again, you can use PowerPoint. So whatever tool you like is accepted, as long as all of these criteria is met on one page. Okay, so what are the criteria? First, in these articles, because the theme is adult learning and what you're learning about adult learning theory. So I want you to find 2 direct quotes. So actually use quotation marks. Find your 2 favorite sentences in any of these readings. And I want those quotes to be somewhere on the one page. I should be able to see them with the page number and the author's name. So just quote them. Again, if you are, however you wish to do it is fine, as long as I can look on the page and find your 2 quotes. And again, make sure that those quotes capture what you think the essence of the readings, what the salient ideas were. Then you need somewhere on your one pager to illustrate your interpretation. And now, I am not an artist. I don't draw. So when I hear the word illustrate, I kind of can get a little anxiety, like, oh, I can't draw. But that's not what I mean. If you are an artist and you love to paint, draw, sketch, by all means, go for it. I can't wait to see your artwork. And that's why you might want to use pens and pencils and do it on construction paper or just a piece of white paper, or black paper, however you're going to create. It doesn't matter, as long as I can see somewhere there's an illustration. But if you're like me and not an artist, I tend to go to Google Images and find clip art and upload photos. Just somewhere on this one pager, there needs to be an image, and this image should capture something that you comprehended, again, from any of these articles. Prove to me that you read one of these. Maybe it's a combination that you synthesize, like a common theme or a common understanding between the articles that you want to illustrate. So it can be literally just from one article, one section, or it can be something that's overall. Again, it's up to you. Just be creative. Again, this illustration can dominate the whole page. Maybe it's very big scale, or it can just literally be in the right-hand corner, wherever you're going to put it that makes sense to you and how you're taking up. And you can have multiple images or just one. Again, as long as you have an illustration, then check it off your criteria. That's what I'm looking for. But I can't wait to see what you do, because they're so fun to see how people bring their creativity to that part. Then I want you to list 4 single words. These are your reactions, your ideas, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings as you were engaging with the articles. And again, make sure, if you just write pizza, I might think, okay, how does that relate? So make sure these words do relate to the articles. Make it clear to me that you read. And these can be your own words or words that you thought maybe were coming up a lot in the article that stood out to you. But again, 4 single words. So wherever you want to put these words on the page, if it's just in a linear fashion or in the 4 corners, I should just be able to quickly look at your one pager and see those 4 words stand out somewhere. And then somewhere on your one pager, again, because you don't have to do this in any special order, you can organize your one pager in any way you want. So I want you to make one personal statement. So this is an I sentence, like thinking of a sentence frame. I think, I disagree, I agree, I believe, I now know differently from than before. Some kind of personal statement from your voice that was inspired by, again, any of the readings. It can be an overall, or maybe you're just going to comment on one specific thing from one of the articles. And then lastly, somewhere on your one-pager, I want you to write 2 questions. And these questions can be philosophical in nature. Maybe they just are to be debated or thought, there's really no direct answer for it. It's more philosophical, or it's rhetorical. Maybe you have a question to the author, or to me, or to your classmates. We know, and I know, the more I learn, the more questions I have. And there's different levels of questions. So you can ask, something that you literally need answered and I could address, to something that's larger in nature that maybe it takes a lifetime to answer. But again, your goal or your task is to just come up with 2 questions, present them somewhere on the page. Once you complete all 5 of these steps into one page, you have a one-pager. And again, upload these to LaLima, your one-pager, and be prepared to do some application sharing in class so that everyone can see your one-pager. That's what's fun, because we're only looking at one page. So I can't wait for you to come to class and show these interpretations from these readings. Okay, then there's a second part of this assignment. The next part is I have 4 videos. This is a fun week because very light on the reading, and then videos. I always enjoy watching videos. There are so many cool videos now, and these are just as important as print text. And these video texts give us different perspectives and different ways to make meaning of the content that they're sharing. And again, these are all on coaching models, because we're really taking off now in this course. We've spent the first few weeks really building community and talking about trust and why adults need to feel like they're part of a trusting community. And now we want to start thinking about coaching models. And I found these 4. And when you watch these 4, I have another literacy strategy called 3-2-1. This is a pretty popular comprehension strategy, so some of you may know it, but we adapt them and make different questions. So for this one, simply write down 3 ideas that struck you in the video. So just jot those down. You can write right into here, or you can copy and paste this chart into a separate document. However you want to do it, as long the goal is I want to read your one-pager, and then I want to read your responses in these boxes. And then again, make 2 connections to the videos. These might be text to self, like something that happened in the video that you can personally said happened to you in your life, or maybe they're more at large, text to society or the world, or maybe to another text. Maybe you watched another video recently at a workshop, or from your principal, or just yourself on blogs, and you came across something and you connected that video to one of these videos. Heck, maybe you guys have already seen these videos. And then again, just like the one-pager, you're going to ask a question or offer a wondering that you had after watching these videos. So that's it. I hope that's pretty straightforward, and that I hope my oral directions gave you more perspective of how to complete this assignment. And again, bring your questions or comments to class. Email me anytime if you need further instructions on how to complete this assignment. Again, to sum it up, read these 4 assignments, create a wonderful one-pager that I can't wait for everyone to see, and then complete your 3-2-1 after watching these 4 videos. At the very end, just prove to me that you did this work, so that this is that, again, holding you accountable. I really respect your time for reading these, and I want to show you that respect by giving you thoughtful feedback after I review your reactions to all the texts that I bring to you. Okay, enjoy, and thank you. Bring your questions to class if you have any. Thank you.